Yo, what up? I like how me making the thumbnail image before I shoot the video kind of like focuses my thoughts a little bit. I think I'm gonna leave the thumbnail just a few seconds at the start of this video. Maybe I'll make that a thing. Oh, and I just wanted to say to Dankatus Prime, I was right here when I loved/liked your two comments. I just read them on my way to. Well, you'll see it. You'll see in a minute. I got something in mind. I'm doing my daily run, but I'm doing it in walk mode because I had a lazy day. Then I got off work and I was on the bus. When I got off the bus, I was like, "Oh, I'll just go do that now." The view up here at night is bloody marvelous. It just looks so cool. I mean, pretty much any time of the day it looks pretty cool, but at night it's pretty neat. Yo, and I'm sweating. Hold on. Can you see that? Sweating. The picture, holy jeez. Clearly I took that picture yesterday. I think this is the flower I took a picture of. These are all, anyhow, comment fly effect. You know, like taking the idea of the butterfly effect, you know, where they'll say the butterfly flapping its wings will cause a hurricane somewhere. I don't think that that's actually ever been true, but it's, you know, supposed to illustrate how small things can have a big impact. And I thought I would use Dankatus Prime's comment from, I guess it was last video. I took a video yesterday, and I'll get to that part. It's a better background. And how that comment stuck out to me because it was the first kind of in-depth comment I've had in a while that wasn't like from mom or a friend, and it was like just right on point to what I was talking about. Like I went and I actually downloaded his ebook for free using Kindle Unlimited. I signed up. The ebook in question is Parallel Universes of Self. I've only read a couple chapters, but I watched some of his videos. And it like, and then I watched some other videos, and it like put me, that one comment like got me like digging around and through the web and doing some stuff. And then yesterday's video. Then yesterday I made this video where I kind of like opened up the box of yesterday's video. I don't know if or when that will get edited and released. I think it definitely will, but I went on a long rant and ramble about different, I don't want to get it started, but basically kind of the idea how everything that's happening everywhere in the realm of humans is a story, and there are these generally, you know, agreed upon stories by large groups of people, whether it's stories about money and work, or origin stories, or stories about who you or I am, but they're to a large degree fabricated. I mean, it's all made up, and you can kind of create your own story that isn't necessarily the story you're living, and it might be a very crazy story, but if you can pull it off in a way that doesn't disrupt other people's reality too much to where it starts causing trouble for you or those around you, that's something you can do. And without getting into what I got into yesterday with my crazy story, but if you think about what happens with hip-hop artists or musicians or actors is, you know, and I suppose that's a lot of the draw to them, besides their craft, is that, you know, they've created what is essentially an alternate reality from what the majority of people are living in. And I mean, anybody can create an alternate reality, but that, creating an alternate reality doesn't make you magically start levitating and everything. And I just came back up to this spot because I came here yesterday to kind of ramble about stories and stuff. And I mean, it's crazy when you the power of story is crazy, and it surrounds us. Here, I'll drop this one story, this one thought that is interesting to me, is that right now, in this moment, as I'm recording, there is absolutely, I suppose you could argue I could do things on my phone, but let's say I didn't have my phone with me. So I don't have my phone, and there's no one here. No one knows who I am. But experientially, like my experience right now, whether I had, $1 billion in the bank, or I owe people $200,000, whatever, or I have to, a bunch of work to do tomorrow, or pressure, or whatever. None of that, like, I could be a billionaire or not a billionaire. I could have a lot of work to do or no work to do or whatever. But none of that exists right now in this moment. None of that is real. And people will try to argue that it's real because, hey, if you go down, you go back down there and blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, it could also be I go back down there and China attacks and it's all gone. Anyhow, my point is there are a lot of times, a lot of time that you spend. I guess I'm like, I don't know what this video is about, but I'm just doing my thing. But like, a large percentage of time is, oftentimes time of, even people have to work a lot. Like, you get some people have to work a ton and they have no time of leisure, and they have to do some work to get some leisure time. But, you can create different narratives for yourself, depending on what your situation is. And it's interesting to think about. And I guess that's kind of what the book Parallel Universes of Self. Now, I didn't think this, and I looked it up to try to get the math and the physics and whatever. There are not parallel universes with different versions of this is my belief anyway. There are not parallel universes with different versions of yourself doing a bunch of different things. And without getting into the math and physics about it, it's just that even with, I guess, there are different levels of infinity. The universe has a set time that it has began, and even if there's a couple different views on the multiverse theory, but basically, I personally do not believe there are parallel universes with parallel versions of me who have won the lottery and who live in China instead of Taiwan or whatever. I don't believe that. But in his book, and I've only read a few chapters and watched some of his videos, but what he's basically saying is, like, whether that's true or not, imagine that it's true. Imagine that there's all these different versions of yourself. A version of yourself who's president, a version of yourself who, has everything you want, a version of yourself that is a master of martial arts, one that's a master dancer, one that's a hip-hop artist. There's all these different versions of you, and there's some versions of you that are really far away, but there's others that are close. So let's say a version of me that would be far away would be let's say, a version of me that lives in Peru and has been living in Peru for the last 10 years to become a shaman, right? That one's further away. Versus a version of myself that's, let's say, living in Taiwan, but a successful writer and publisher and coach or something, right? Since that's kind of what I'm working on now. And what you do is kind of visualize that version, you know, a version of yourself that you're close to, and you know, like take that in, and then start living kind of as if. That's kind of his thing in a nutshell. And I like, I'm gonna read more. I think I'm gonna like it, like, because I like, and I think it gets weird when you. Man, this video, I guess I had no idea what it was going to turn into. So I'm talking about the parallel universes of self thing. And I'm going to spend a little bit more time writing and exploring this. But, you know, kind of the new agey, there's this mixture of where people like to cherry pick things about physics and math and science and then kind of throw like a pop psychology spin on it, which I think if you're upfront about like, hey, this is like, I'm not saying this is what reality is or anything, but this is a good way to visualize it or whatever, or you know, go try things out for yourself or whatever, like that's cool. But I think it can get messy if you start believing things that are supposed to be metaphorical and you start believing as if they're real, because I say this because you know, my belief, we live in a systematic mathematical, you know, universe that has some properties, physical properties to it and everything. Like, I don't believe that I can just dream really hard and levitate off of the planet. Not right now, anyway. I have a lot more training to do. Yeah, I don't know, man. Whatever. Like, I'm just rambling. I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna get off this mountain. I'm gonna just shut it off there. But like all of this works for the comment fly effect, because it's cool, because that one comment took me up here yesterday and went on some long ramble, and it brought me up here today, and it's something to think about. Like the as you're navigating the internet and leaving likes and comments and responding to people, like every one of those interactions, every single one, not that every single one will be highly impactful, but every single one is the opportunity. It has the potential, it has hidden potential to greatly change something. And you might not know, you might not know if your intended change happens, or, you know, like you can't know all of the effects. But if you're approaching these comments and the videos you make, or whatever it is, just your movement through life as these opportunities to, man, I can't see anything. I mean, I can see a little bit. As opportunities to, you know, have that cascading positive effect. You know, everybody is really powerful in a way. You know, like you have that potential to really impact someone or something, you know. And the thing is you might never find out that you did impact someone in that way. You know, someone that you were just nice to at Starbucks, and they were having a really shit day, and you were just nice, and that like cascaded into who knows what. Anyhow, there we go. Comment fly effect. Maybe I should I should put at the start of the video, ramble warning. Flashing. Anyhow, alright guys, that's today's video. I have off work tomorrow, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.